Very good morning, dear students. We were discussing the process of cavitation that can happen inside the plunger. So, what is there due to sudden rise and fall of the pressure? There could be areas, and this what is there. We had this diagram in the previous video. These are the small vapors of the fuel. This is the liquid fuel, and these are the small vapors of the fuel which are present in the form of tiny bubbles or tiny vapor bubbles. These vapors are the vapors of the fuel, vapor bubbles. So these bubbles also collapse. These bubbles collapse when the pressure further rises again, and due to their collapse a pressure wave is generated, and this leads to cavitation, and this wave could be dangerous for the plunger also. So that is why cavitation should be avoided inside the plunger. Now our main aim is to know how can we be able to control the amount of the fuel delivered per stroke. Controlling of the amount of fuel delivered is very important. It is done by rotating the plunger by means of the control rod. Control rod here is nothing but the rack and pinion arrangement, which provides the rotational moment to the plunger. Now what is there when the now what is the idea and funda behind the controlling? See, this is the plunger. I am making it cylindrical. We could see that this is the helical portion. This is the helix, and we can also note that with the various part this helix has got a certain path, and there are various portions in that behind also, and it is very much present like this. But it is not that much. It has not got that much path length. It is only up to here. I can demarcate it with the help of the red color. It is hardly up to there. Okay. I have just drawn the extended portion of it in order to make you people understand that what is the shape of the helix. So in order to do so, what happens? But there are many portions which are present. There are many portions of the helix, and as the different portion of the helix come in contact with the inlet port, this is the inlet port, and various portion of the helix will come in the in front of the inlet port, and it will result in differing the quantity of the fuel, and it will result in differing the quantity of the fuel, as well as it will result in varying the effective stroke of the plunger. This term effective stroke of the plunger is very important. However, the actual travel of the plunger remains constant. It will remain the same. Actual travel is from where to where? Actual travel is from the mean position of the plunger, from the base position of the plunger to the delivery valve, to the position where the delivery valve is located. This is the actual but travel, but the effective stroke will definitely differ because of the various parts of the helix. This is the helix because the various parts of the helix, when they come in contact with the inlet port, that is the at point A, when we can effectively be able to manage and control the effective stroke of the plunger. Now at the extreme position, what is there? One thing also we have to note that this is the plunger, and there is also a vertical slot in the plunger. There is a vertical slot also besides a helical groove. Now this vertical slot does what? Vertical slot is a very essential tool also. It helps in bringing down of the pressure. It helps in bringing down of the fuel which is left after its delivery to the injection, after its delivery to the delivery valve. Whatever the fuel is left at the top of the plunger, that comes down by means of the pressure is broken. That is, the pressure is broken by means of the this vertical slot. Also, when this vertical slot comes in contact with the inlet valve A, there is the vertical groove comes in contact with the inlet. You can see very easily that no pressure is built up and no fuel can be supplied. So we could see that with the help of vertical slot and with the help and preferentially with the help of the helical groove located on the plunger, we can be able to control the amount of the fuel which is to be delivered per stroke. So when this vertical slot comes in contact with this is the inlet port, and when this vertical slot, I am drawing it in this fashion so that we may be able to understand. This is the vertical slot, and when this vertical slot comes in contact with this inlet port, there is no fuel delivery, no, because there is no pressure built up, because whatever the fuel was there at the top of it, and the pressure will not be able to build up, because the fuel, the extra fuel which has in because the fuel can travel vertically downwards also with in this vertical groove, so there is no formation of the pressure and therefore no fuel can be supplied. We could see very well in this figure the effective stroke in this diagram, for example, is this much, while it is only very small, it is only this much in the portion in the D figure. So this is the only thing which we are by the help of which we are going to control the amount of the fuel delivered. So in the next slide we are going to see is there any effect of the type of the helix. Well, in the normal helix, one thing we have to know that the start of the injection always occurs at constant time in the cycle. We can also see start of injection, while the end of the injection is varied. While the duration of injection increases as the load is increased and it is maximum at full load. So what is the duration of injection? The duration of injection in the diesel fuel pumps, it increases. This is the inlet port, delivery valve, spill port and the plunger. The time for which the injection takes place, it increases as the speed or the load increases. This thing is a very important fact which we have to remember, and it's a very important process also. And here we can see that the start of the injection always occurs at constant time. It is only the end which we vary with the load. Now how we can vary? So this is the thing, the greater the load, greater will be the duration of injection and vice versa. So what happens when it will have a reverse helix? The reverse helix is like this, while the normal helix is like this. Reverse helix, normal helix, and this type of helix is having it is a combination of the two. So what happens when such a kind of thing occurs? In this reverse helix, we will be able to produce a shorter delay actually. We will also be able to control the start of the injection. We can see both variable start of the injection as well as variable end of injection also, this reverse helix. So with the help of it, we will be able to control not only the end, and we were also able to control the end of injection, the time duration for the end of injection in the normal one also, but in the reverse case we will be able to control the start of the injection also. So this kind of thing we have to see a shallower helix. So this helix is shallower and it allows some retardation in the light loads also, reduces the idling noise due to pressure rise. See, when we are having a very light load, we do not require much of the fuel, and it will allow some of the retardation which will which can happen in the case of the when the loads are not very high, when the loads are light. So we can use the reverse helix also, and it will prevent the greater rise in the pressure at the idling speeds, at the idling conditions when there is no load condition. So in those conditions, idling conditions, which I have already mentioned in the carburetor, while describing the carburetors, what are idling speeds when there is no load condition. In the no load condition, we require a richer mixture, but we do not require a higher pressure rise. So in those conditions, reverse helix could be very useful. So the next thing, so up to here we have discussed the diesel fuel pump working in optimal details. So what we want now, we want to discuss some portion of the steam cycle, some portion of the steam turbine, some portion of the steam turbines from our next video. Please do watch it and do raise the questions and do suggest the things also for our better quality. Thank you. Have a nice day.